Yo, this is Terrell from D-Line, Hall of Fame Bullies, and this is Bully Rants. Well, this is a rant that's I got a lot of questions on recently, and it's just an opinion. Some people will like it, some people will hate it, whatever. But pretty much, it's about how many times a stud should be studded. What's a stud that produces? How do you rate that? First and foremost, I'll say is that no stud should be studded out before he's a year old. And then, in my opinion, no stud should have, 1,000 offspring, especially not at a young age. There's some studs now that are well over 2,000 offspring, and it's overpopulation, and if you breed that many times, there's no way that you put quality first. You put money and stud fees first, and at some point in time, you have to really, at any point in time, you have to think about quality and what's going to be on your name and what you're putting out there in the community and what people are taking home with them. And one of the keys to this is that just really overall, right now, I look at it as most people are just breeding the dogs and hoping for a good litter instead of planning out and finding the appropriate bitches to put to the stud. And of course, if you breed a dog 1,000 times, you'll be able to pick out dogs and say, oh, look, he throws himself over and over again. Okay, a dog's got 1,000 offspring, and you show me 25, 30, or 40 dogs that have his features, and you want to say he's a proven producer. To me, that's bullshit. Then you have the whole thing of the champion titles, which some of us care about and some of us now know there's no way that our dogs will get them, so we sort of put that down. But to me, if you got a dog that has over 2,000 puppies and under 10 champions, he's not a producer, no matter what they say. Not only that, if you have a dog that has 1,000, 2,000, 2,500 puppies, and you can show, people don't only really know or are talking about 25 puppies, 25 dogs off of this dog. You do the math. That's not even 1% of the dogs that he's produced that people even care about or talked about or represented properly. And really, all it does is it creates a bunch of dogs that won't have good homes, and you'll see them resold here, resold there, mistreated one way or the other. And I think under no circumstance should you breed a dog like that. People always question me about Denzel, and they know of a lot of Denzel offspring, but in reality, and people who will tell you that look on their paperwork will tell you Denzel doesn't even have 300 puppies right now. So it's important for me to keep that number low. I have a number in my head that I never want him to get over, and that's why he's being shut down, and I'll do my breedings with him to produce what I want to produce. But I think that you should be trying to produce quality and improve the bully community with any stud that you have that's of note, and not just mass producing and hope that you come up with the next big thing to carry the name on. Overall quality of the dog is important. More so, I think you have to start looking at what flaws the dog is throwing, how consistent these flaws are, how serious these flaws are. And at a certain point, if this shows up over time with several different females from several different bloodlines, then you have to really start to evaluate the stud and see, okay, certain blood he just doesn't do good with. It could be on the female that you had these flaws, or if it's a consistent thing where you see, bowed out elbows or high rears or whatever the flaw is, that pretty much is this stud, and you probably need to stop studying him, And people need to be more serious about the studs that they pick, and not just pick off of a name and wonder about how much the puppies are going to be sold for. Myself, I'm into quality. I want to produce champions. I want to produce beautiful, clean, well-muscled, good-looking dogs that most importantly will live over a decade and be a good pet. Also, have a chance to go in the show ring and do their thing. And I think that's just my personal opinion, and I really do believe strongly about it, that that's the way that not only bullies but every dog should be treated, that the dog should be produced for a purpose. And to me, the American Bully's purpose is all about it's a show dog. That's really what it is. It's a show dog and it's a companion, and that's pretty much its primary purpose. And if you're not producing for that, then you have to question yourself, what are you producing for? You know, some people are like, oh, I'm producing monsters. Well, the monster dies, the monster has all these health problems. You know, nobody wants that as a pet. They can't move, they gotta hide from sun half of the time, they have all these other issues I see every day. Most of them are dying before they're 2 years old, and that all leads back to you know, proper study, because it shouldn't be so many litters, especially to uneducated people who, and when I mean uneducated, I'm talking about uneducated in the breed. They don't really know a lot about dogs and don't know how to breed the dogs, put them together, and be responsible about what they're doing with a purpose for bettering this breed. You know, money has really corrupted the whole thing and made people argue and fight, and you know, pretty much it's just turned into one big ugly business. And you know, back excuse me, back to the original topic. As far as the stud go, do your research on this stud, and really my own personal opinion, and I always use that pretense because you don't have to follow my opinion, but I wouldn't stud to a dog that's been overstudded and put out there like a whore, you know, because what you have is not of an elite quality or an elite status. And on top of it, you know, if this dog was mass produced like that, he should have, you know, and that's any dog, he should have a ton of offspring to show you that's consistently fire, and not talking about, you know, a few dogs out of a few hundred. Alright, well, once again, this is Terrell from Hall of Fame. If you have any questions or any new fresh topics, you know, hit me on the inbox. I'm getting around to the ones that are still there. Y'all have a good weekend. Let's represent these bullies positive. Thank you.